Now, stop humming this here, everything done changed. That warp tool made you open your brain. Eric Vanek is here, so remember the name. Hey, he got the waiver wire for the week. Tell you who to start and who to give a seat. Dropping the podcast every week. You know the knowledge is elite. After the show, we gon' hold a Lombardi. Celebrating like we throwing a party. This the blueprint and I know they gon' copy. How my intros always go the hardest, cause this is America's game.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of America's Game, episode number 41. I'm your host, Eric Vanek, and you can follow me on Twitter at Eric Vanek NFL. And as always, joined by my co-host, Mike. Mike, what's going on, buddy?
What's happening, man? Tuesday night.
Not much, man.
Recording this one. Let's go.
Yeah. Tuesday, I got some shit to do tomorrow, so I'm not going to be around. So, yeah, recorded on Tuesday night here. How's your rookie drafts going, man? We're like balls deep in the middle of rookie draft season, so how's that been going for you?
There is one that is taking forever, and it's driving me nuts. Like it is 8 hours every damn pick, and I'm losing my mind.
Yeah,
losing my mind. Some of these have been extremely fast, and part of that's me. You know, when you got like 6 picks in a row, you just click.
Yeah,
it's done. Let's move this thing along. But this one's taking forever. But majority of them are wrapped up. We got a few stragglers that'll be coming a little bit later. You know, some people like to draft in July or whatever, so I gotta wait for those. But
yeah, me and Scott Connor, so we run about 5 or 6 leagues together. So me and him kind of like space them out. So like every 3 or 4 days, we'll have one of the leagues kick off. So we're like right in the middle now. We've had a couple already finished, one still in progress, and we still have like 2 or 3 more to go. So. Got that coming up. Still doing a bunch of other rookie drafts too. Probably about halfway through of every one of my leagues so far. But yeah, I get you on the wait for people to pick, man, and it taking forever. I'm always the guy I'm on points that telling people, hey, you're on the clock, tagging people in group me or sleeper or whatever. And I'm also the fucking asshole that if you haven't picked in 2 hours, I'll fucking say courtesy tag and I'll tag you again. And when I really do courtesy, I type in courtesy tag, I really mean hurry the fuck up and fucking pick, you motherfucker, is what I really mean.
Start the show off great.
Yes. So the PSA, fucking when I tag you, fucking pick. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm working. Dude, go sit on the fucking shitter for 5 minutes and make a fucking pick.
Yeah.
We're not gonna stop you from going to fucking take a shit.
I also got some people that just milk a clock every time they're up, looking to trade back.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Okay, first round, maybe the beginning of the second round, I get it. You know what? Take all the time you need, because I do understand. People make trades. I used to be the asshole, I didn't care. But first and second round, okay, I can see it. Because, you can maybe trade your 202 and get a Joe Mixon or something. There's those trades to be had out there. Maybe you're a team that needs that veteran piece, and you don't really need that Trey Benson who might not start this year. So you go for Joe Mixon or something. So I get it. First, second round, okay. If you got to take a little bit of time to make a trade, okay. When we get in the third, fourth, fifth round, just fucking make your picks. No one's fucking trading for those pieces of shit picks.
I think I've done 35 rookie drafts so far, Eric, and trades on the clock. Zero,
yeah. I've made a couple. Me and Dynasty Barry actually just did one a little bit ago. I think I took over an orphan in one of his leagues. I think it was the 209 or 210. So Blake Corum was still there. I could have went Blake Corum. But he gave me his 309, Jacoby Myers, and Ty Chandler. And this is a team that has no depth. So I'm like, that's fine. I'll do that pick. You can have your Blake Corum or whoever you want. I think you did take Corum. And I'll take a couple depth pieces and a third round pick. I can maybe take a shot at Kamani Vidal or Ray Davis or somebody like that. So
one of the guys I have way too many shares of.
Yeah, yeah, we'll get into that here shortly of guys we have way too many shares of so far. But yeah, that's kind of how my rookie drafts have gone so far. I'm in one league where it's kind of a little bit of Devi into it, so the first round's not as big, but it's also a 16 team league, and we're like round 5 now, and it is IDP as well, and I'm like digging into these like IDP players and
It's
like
rough,
Aeneas Smith in round 5, stuff like
Let's
that.
go with
So
Nia Smith, man. I got a lot of Nia Smith too.
yeah, I'm trying my best not. Well, we can get into it, but I'm trying my best not to take any receivers in round 3, 4, 5. I'm just going all running backs, maybe a tight end, maybe Jordan Travis, because he's gonna have his documentary one day.
No, he's
No,
not.
he's
But
not.
I
He's
love
like,
the promise.
no,
No,
he's not.
no,
How much
no
Jordan
way.
Travis do you got yet, man?
None.
None. Damn. All right, so on this episode, me and Mike, we're gonna dig into South Harmon's rookie ADP that we've compiled. Well, Koopa's compiled and made the format for us. So we're gonna get into that. We got 20,054 rookie drafts off of Sleeper that he has calculated so far that have gone off. So he has the ADP in order for those leagues so far, and then yeah, we're just gonna talk about what our thoughts about this, kind of who we think's going too high, too low, some guys like we like in this sweet spot range, and talk about that. And then also, what I want to first start off with, though, and this is really, really fucking degenerate, but this is what we do. So we had 5 signings recently in the NFL, and I kind of just wanted to go over them with you real quick
Yeah.
and just get your thoughts on them. So we'll start with the one that happened today. So Tyler Boyd signed with the Titans, 4.5 million for 1 year. Going to be their slot receiver, take over for Kyle Phillips, who was absolute dog shit. So, what did you think of Tyler Boyd there to the Titans so far?
That was fucking disgusting for all the Tyler Boyd shares I still held on to. And even more disgusting, the final nail in the coffin for all the Treylon Burke shares that you're like,
Yeah.
please play the slot this year, make up the big slot. And it's like, wow, you just killed 2 shitters with 1 stone. Love it.
Yeah, he went to the
Write
he
'em
went
off.
to the he went to the big bench.
It's
And that's where
disgusting. I
that's
hate
where
it for
he's gonna
both of them.
be.
It's terrible. I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, I don't. I mean, yeah, obviously going from Joe Burrow to Will Levis is a downgrade. But I don't hate it for Tyler Boyd. I think he's still gonna put up kind of a similar stat line, like 50 catches, 600 yards. I'll get you 3 or 4 touchdowns. Like I'm not expecting Tyler Boyd to light the world on fire or anything, but I think it's a good, like for the Titans, I think it's a very good signing. Like now you have 3 veteran wide receivers for Will Levis to lean on:
Oh,
Calvin
yeah.
Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd. So I think the Titans are going about this the right way. They got him 2 running backs. They got him an offensive lineman in the first round. They're going all in on Will Levis this year, so I love it. So if you have any Will Levis out there, this is the year for him, man. If he can't do it this year, then I believe the Titans will be looking to move on from him sooner rather than later. So hopefully Will Levis can stay healthy and have a good season, at least show some promise, because he has all the weapons around him now. It's on him. He's got Chig,
Yep.
the 3 receivers, the 2 running backs. Offensive line is slowly improving, so I do like that for Will Levis. And then Boyd, I mean, he's still going to, I think he's in my wide receiver. Where did I throw him? Wide receiver 84 overall. So in Dynasty. So I think that's probably about where he's going to be. He doesn't really gain much value. He doesn't. I don't think he loses too much value. It's probably stayed about equal for me, because he hasn't been that world beater so far for like he was with the Bengals there for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm excited for Will Levis. I mean, they started adding pieces this offseason. They just continue it. It's another one for it. Everything you said, man. They gave him another running back. They gave him an offensive lineman. Now they give him a good slot receiver that's familiar with the system with Callahan coming over. So,
Yeah, that's another big thing.
I mean, he understands it. I got a good question for you. Will Levis or Bo Nix?
Will Levis.
Will
I
Levis
already had that before. That
or Penix?
Levis.
Levis or Baker Mayfield?
think I might have Levis one spot higher. I have Levis 2 spots higher.
Okay.
Obviously a youth. I mean, it's still age. So Baker's 29. Levis is 24, older side of 24. So he has a couple years on him. I like his weapons better, honestly. I like the Titans' weapons better than Tampa Bay's. I mean,
Top to bottom. Yep.
yeah, Mike Evans and Godwin and White, great players, but he's got couple more weapons there for Levis, and he can run the ball a little bit too.
Who the fuck thought we'd ever say we like the Titans' weapons more than the Bucks?
Yeah, that's
But
why I
here we
said
are.
I think they're gonna be a sneaky team this year too. They're gonna be in every game. They're gonna be like one of those 9-8, 8-9 Jeff Fisher teams again. They're gonna be just right on the outside there. Whoever's leading the AFC South late in the year. Whether it's the Jags, the Colts, Houston, whoever, they're gonna be the thorn in the side, and they fucking upset the Texans late in the year.
Yep.
They're going to be one of those teams that's just a thorn in everybody's side. The defense is at least average, solid. So yeah, I really like what the Titans did. That wouldn't shock me, too, if they just won 10 games somehow and made the playoffs as like the 7th seed. Wouldn't shock me at all.
It'd be tough to put them as the best division, but would you say they're the second best division in football, top to bottom now? I still have
They're
the AFC North up there just because it's so stacked.
Yeah, I mean AFC West is pretty good too, or well, AFC West was supposed to be good, and then it turned into dog shit. The NFC West, that's a really good division too. NFC North has become really, really good too. There's some good teams there. I don't know if I'd put them as second best. I think I'd put the NFC North. I think I like them a lot.
A little bit better. Okay.
But yeah, they're right there, man. Like this used to be the laughing stock division like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like nobody gave a fuck about this division. Now everybody's good. So good for them.
Yeah.
Next one up, I wanted to talk about. Well, before we move on, Traylon. I don't think you can drop him, but he's goddamn close, right?
Yeah. he's like right.
Yeah,
right there.
I'm like I would trade Traylon for anything if I can get a early 4th round pick, a late 3rd. I don't even think you're gonna get a late 3rd. If I can get a 4th round pick to take somebody on the clock that I like a Kamani Vidal, Ray Davis, any of these types. Yeah, like this is the class to just get rid of them, send them off to somebody else, let it be somebody else's problem. Can I get a future 3rd or 4th for him? If that's you can't get any of that, I'll just take $50 in fab for him. I'd even be willing to do that. I just want him off my team at this point.
I think you could get a late 3rd, early 4th for him.
I think so too. I think there's still
class,
people.
I would pivot there. That'd be bottom dollar. Here you go. You take him.
Yeah, there's still people out there that's drinking the Kool-Aid. Like they listen to certain content creators out there that hyped him up for years, and they'll fucking drink that Kool-Aid some more. So I think that's
the Jalen Reagor thing, man.
Yeah, so they'll do that. So yeah, just want to go over that with Traylon. Next one up that actually I like this one a lot. It was DJ Chark to the Chargers. Should be one of their starting outside wide receivers, I would believe, as long as he's healthy. What did you think of Chark to the Chargers?
I think he's gonna make a good best ball wide receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have him on my team than what the other options were, like Darius Davis, the Trey Tuckers of the world. I'll take DJ Chark in that offense.
Yeah.
Why not?
Do you like him better than Josh Palmer?
Yes.
I think Chark's more talented.
It really feels like Ladd's going to get a majority of the targets and get fed them. There'll be a lot of tight ends mixed in, even though they're going to be gross tight ends. They'll get mixed in. But as far as your big play ability, maybe slap him into a flex in a lineup league if you had to. Chark. Yeah. I think Chark, I would prefer to have him over Palmer, to be completely honest. Palmer feels more like a possession kind of guy, and Chark feels like the big play kind of guy. In a low volume passing offense, I want the big play guy.
Right. I think in 3 receiver sets, it'd be Palmer, Chark on the outside, Ladd in the slot, and Quentin Johnston's just gonna have to earn a role. Like if he beats out Palmer or Chark in training camp, then okay, that he gets the spot, and then the other guy's the guy on the bench. But I just haven't seen it yet. I think Chark there with Palmer, that should be it's still gross, but it's better than what it could have been.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did have Chark. I have Chark a little lower than Tyler Boyd right now, but I could easily move him up a little bit. I have him at wide receiver 90. But I think it's a good landing spot for DJ Chark. Just everything considered, like he didn't like the line going back to the Lions could have been good because they lost Josh Reynolds and all they really got's Amon-Ra, Jamison Williams really, and Donovan Peoples-Jones. So I think that could have been a fine spot to go back to as well. But I'm fine with the Chargers there for Chark. I think that was a good spot for him.
He should have just landed in New England with all the other wide receiver threes.
Oh no, no, thank you on that one
No,
too.
you
I'll
good.
pass. Yeah, I'm good on that one. But yeah, so Chark's there. I don't think it really affects anybody too much. I think it's still going to be a battle just to even see who the top three are going to be. I think Ladd's locked in, and then Quentin Johnston, Palmer, and Chark are fighting for the other two spots. So we'll see how that one wraps up. But good spot there for DJ Chark to land in. Next one up I want to talk about was Chase Claypool. Went to the Buffalo Bills. I actually think this is another good landing spot for them. It's the guy that they got really cheap. He's showing that he can play in the NFL. Last year was a disaster year for him with the Bears and the Dolphins. Basically, ever since he's went to the Bears, he's been dog shit. Let's just say it how it's been. But going to Buffalo, I think kicking the tires on him. He still has some talent. Aligned with Josh Allen. What did you think of the Chase Claypool signing?
It's a good low risk one for them because
Right.
it's a 1 year deal. I didn't see exactly how much they were throwing at
Yeah, I
him.
didn't either.
Still hasn't been released yet, so it kind of feels like one of those. We'll see what you got in OTAs in the preseason, and if you don't show that you're putting in some fucking effort finally, then we just cut you and move on, and we don't care. Like it doesn't hurt us at all. But if we find something, maybe you're motivated to tap back into that rookie talent that we saw, the rookie
Right.
ability, which it's a team that could use it. It's a team that could use a guy like that.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with good low risk signing. Like, if he hits, then awesome. They have another outside receiver to go with Keon Coleman. You can play Shakir and Samuel in the slot and see what happens there. But if Claypool doesn't work out, he's loafing around, he's dicking around, whatever. They can just easily cut him probably for very cheap and send him on his way to the Canadian Football League. So,
UFL. You'll be
yeah,
like, man, do you remember
UFL.
when that guy was good in the NFL? We'll
Yeah.
talk about that in a couple of years.
Yep, probably. But I really do like the signing, and I've seen him on free agency in a few of my leagues. I'll take a $1 or $0 fab dart on him and see what happens. And if he don't work out, I cut him. So
Exactly.
yeah, so I'm good with that. Or the people that still had him, I think you still have a little bit of life. I think you could trade him as well. I think people see Buffalo and maybe like, all right, I'll give him a shot. You might be able to get a 2025 third or fourth for him. Get some fab, something like that. You can still trade Chase Claypool now. Now that he went to Buffalo, and I don't
That's
think it
something.
really affects like the top guys, Coleman, Shakir, Samuel. It doesn't affect those guys for me at all. It's just a good little dart throw. And we'll see what happens.
Shakir's about the only one where you're like, just another guy that they're bringing in that. Is this the
Right.
one that ends him for good?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they brought in four guys this offseason if you count, well, actually five, if you count Quintez Cephas, who they just signed, and Matt Collins, who they brought in too.
Yep.
So I mean, they've brought in five guys, but I think Shakir they like he showed enough last year where I think he's gonna probably be a starter for them. I don't see why not. Plus, they invested draft capital into him, so they want to see him succeed.
Can we body all our Justin Shorter shares now?
Yeah, I mean, he missed all of last year. He's still a fifth round pick, so I think they'll at least give him a shot, but he's got a lot of competition to even make the team. So,
Better learn Chinese, buddy.
yeah, there you go. All right. The next wide receiver signing, probably the biggest one, name wise of these guys was Odell Beckham Jr. went to the Miami Dolphins. What did you think that of Odell going to Miami?
I'm impressed with his agent that he continues to get teams to pay him millions of
Yeah,
dollars.
yeah, it's like 8.5 million total, like with incentives and all that. I
That
think the
man's
base was like 3.5 or 4.5 or something.
that man been washed since he showed up in Cleveland all them years ago.
Yeah, I think
I'm good.
that second ACL in Cleveland
He's a
kind of hurt
shell of
him.
himself. Yep.
Yeah. He had a good Super Bowl. I'll give him that. Like he had a good playoff run with the Rams there
He
for
had
a
a moment.
couple games.
Yep.
But yeah, ever since then, after that ACL injury in the Super Bowl, man, he's been yeah, it's been rough for him. That's for sure.
Even last year, he had 2 weeks total.
Yeah. Yeah, he was an after like he wasn't even like worth a best ball spot at that point. To
On
be
a team
honest.
that was desperate for wide receiver help.
Right.
Right.
I mean, Nelson Aguilar was outscoring him.
That should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Right? Like people look at it and it's a name and it's the Dolphins and well they gave him a lot of millions. But so did the Ravens. Didn't matter. Didn't
Right. I'll tell you one thing though that hurt me with this signing was my hype for Malik Washington.
I think it'll be fine. I don't even think OBJ at this stage of his career is better than Malik Washington.
No, I don't think so either. But I was kind of hoping like it would be Malik and Braxton Berrios. Like Berrios could just be the return guy, and Malik Washington could be the starter in the slot now. Now that I think adding Odell and paying him this much money, they're gonna put him on the field. So like it kind of hinders me from Malik Washington to even make a first year impact for me. So that kind of makes like taking him like in the third, fourth round of these rookie drafts like almost a waste.
I mean, at the very best, Odell's probably on the field, 30% of the snaps?
Yeah, I mean, and this was, I think they, Scott was showing me a stat that they were 31st in the league in three receiver sets that they ran. They were usually running two receiver sets, multiple backs, multiple tight end sets were more in vogue for them than three receiver sets. So Malik Washington had an uphill climb if you just go based off of that last year. And you got to think too, this team had all kinds of wide receiver threes last year. There's Cedric Wilson, Barrios, River Craycraft, Chase Claypool. They had Robbie Anderson or whatever the fuck his name is now. They had all kinds of guys they were throwing out there, and still, it just never worked. So I really like Malik Washington. I hope it works out for him, but I've kind of cooled my jets on like drafting him a lot because of this.
Yeah. I'd just say at the end of the day, though, at least Malik Washington and the other Washington who they drafted,
Taj, yeah.
I think both of those guys got a little brighter future than OBJ for your dynasty teams.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on that for sure. I just think it kind of dampens their, worth for the first rookie year. And, like, we're so fickle in dynasty. Like, if you don't hit your first year in the league, it's like, oh, we're just done with you. So that's kind of where I'm at with it on Odell and Malik Washington on that one.
Yeah, I probably won't have any OBJ other than free off of waivers.
Yeah, I mean, I think I still have a couple hanging around, but it's not a lot. Like, I should probably just go spam them for Fab or a 2025 fourth or something like that, honestly.
Give me anything.
Yeah, anything. That's like just like we were talking about with those other guys.
Just give me anything.
Anything. Like, hey, this guy still has a pulse. I'll take him.
This guy here's like dead.
Cross him off then. Too funny.
Greatest.
Yes, absolutely. So, and then the other guy that signed the other day, I want to say, maybe it was yesterday, was Rashad Penny, went to the Panthers. Probably going to be their RB3 or 4, depending if Miles Sanders gets his shit together. What did you think of Carolina picking up Rashad Penny?
That's another guy, just would never die. Never die. There's probably still a truther out there. Give me anything for Rashad Penny, you could have him.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see that all day.
Terrible. Last year, I think I traded a fourth for him when he signed with the Eagles. Just like, hey, why not? Let me get one Rashad Penny share. And then I immediately traded him. There was some, I don't remember who it was, but there was a bigger account like hyping up Rashad Penny on the Eagles when he first signed. Like, this is before they traded for Swift.
Yeah.
But they're like, if Rashad Penny is healthy, all games, he's an RB1 or some shit like that. So then I flipped Rashad Penny for a third, and I was like, profit. Done.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely profited on that one, that's for sure.
Just get rid of him.
Yeah.
I'm not even picking him up, Eric. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I'm not probably going to pick him up anywhere unless... I mean, for free, I guess I'll take a shot at him.
If Miles Sanders gets cut in training camp, I'll pick Rashad Penny up.
Yeah, that's my thing too. Is like I don't even know who it's going to be. Is it going to be Penny or Miles Sanders? I think Chuba and Brooks are definitely ahead of him. So, and they like Raheem Blackshear for they like Blackshear for returning ability. So, it might be between Miles Sanders and Penny to even make the team. So
could be it. Miles Sanders can return kicks though, so with these new kickoff rules, maybe he makes himself a little bit more of a asset.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Blackshear did it. I'm sure they have some other guys that could probably do it as well that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. I mentioned this one too. What did you think about the Jags cutting Zay Jones?
You kind of saw that one coming with everything that's been going on with the Jags, right? Drafting Brian Thomas, bringing in Gabe Davis. Felt like he was going to be the odd man out. He really did. He had some good moments. If I'm not mistaken, he had some off-the-field concerns last year, like a domestic violence thing that had popped up at one point, too.
Yeah, I remember something. Yeah, he had something that happened, yeah.
So
I don't remember exactly what it was, but...
Lack of production, kind of fading. It was a nice story there for a year, and the Jags are like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
right?
we're good.
If you're kind of that middling talent, you can't afford to have off the field stuff. Like, you just can't.
Yeah.
even allegations of it, we're good. We're
Right.
good. We'll replace you with Parker Washington.
Yeah, or Parker Washington, or God, they have 17 other guys on their team. But yeah, I get it.
Yep.
Yeah. So okay, I just wanted to get your thoughts on some of those guys and see who they affected, who you liked. Do you have a favorite out of those 5 or 6 we talked about?
I mean, if I'm gonna shoot my shot, as weird as it sounds, Chase Claypool would probably be up there.
Claypool,
and then DJ Chark for best ball purposes.
Okay. Yeah, I think
that feels like a guy that might give me 2 weeks. Jalen Guyton-esque. Just oh shit, he just got 2 touchdown passes. Nice.
Yeah, I think I would go DJ Chark would be my number 1 off of that. I might not reflect it on my rankings, but I think if everything works out and Chark is healthy, I think that's a really good landing spot for him.
And then Tyler Boyd, like you said.
Yeah, Boyd's probably third.
30, 40 catches, 400 or 500 yards, maybe.
Yeah, and like you said, he knows the system, so that's good too. So I like that. All right, let's get into this ADP talk. For the rookie draft so far. So I'm taking this off of the southharmonff.com website. If you just click on ADP on the top there, it'll take you right to our ADP that we have tracked. You can choose from all kinds of different leagues. There's startup ADP as well. There's Superflex rookie, 1 quarterback leagues if you're still in one of those dinosaur leagues. If you have IDP startup leagues, those are in there. IDP rookie leagues, those are in there as well for ADP purposes, so you can take a look at. So multiple different leagues you can go and look at. So we're looking at this from Koopa, 20,054 rookie drafts that he has calculated into here. That's not every single league out there either. This is just... basically all the leagues for certain settings that he has set up. I'm sure he can talk about it on his podcast if he wants one day of how he calculates all that. But still, want to take a look at it here. So we're going to look at Superflex rookie drafts, just standard vanilla type settings. I think the first 3 picks are pretty common in most of my leagues that I've been in. Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Jaden Daniels have kind of been the top 3 that I've seen in pretty much all my rookie drafts so far. How about you?
Yep. Sometimes you'll see one outlier hop up there. Usually for Jaden Daniels is the odd man out of the 3, but I mean that's pretty solid. It's pretty consistent across the board. So those are the top 3 picks.
Yeah, I mean I've I don't think I've seen anybody other than you take somebody other than Caleb or Marvin Harrison at 1 or 2. So it's been pretty much those guys of 1, 2.
Love it. I love setting trends.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so those got first 3 pretty simple. 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we can kind of tier these guys together. So Malik Neighbors is 104, Rome Odunze is 105, Drake May 106, and JJ McCarthy is the 107. I'd say most of my leagues I've seen Malik Neighbors pretty much be the 104 a lot. But 105, 106 is where I usually see Drake May and JJ McCarthy. How about you?
I'm in a lot of these, and I have a lot of those 4 or 5 picks. So for those, they're Drake May or JJ McCarthy for me. But just the ones I don't have, Malik Neighbors is almost always the second wide receiver off the board. Rarely do you see Odunze. Then after that, like, it's kind of just been a mixed bag, kind of like you said, where they're kind of locked in. And I think with all 4 of these guys, they could go at any of these positions, because I have seen JJ McCarthy go as high as 4. Yep. You have seen Drake May be the one fall to 7, back and forth, flip flop. Some people take quarterbacks, some people take wide receivers. So pretty interesting ADP. Like, I gotta how that shakes out. I know they're listed in order, but really you can just close your eyes and pick one, and it'll be pretty standard in your draft.
Yeah, I think it depends a lot on what that team specifically needs. If they need a quarterback, if they need a wide receiver, you might see Rome go first, or they pick whichever quarterback they want, is usually how it goes. Who do you have the most of out of those 4 Neighbors, Odunze, May, and McCarthy?
Ooh, let me find out here.
Okay.
Let me find out. I'm going to guess Drake May. Yeah, Drake 7 May. Shares of Drake May.
7? Wow. 7. You're all in on Drake May, huh?
Dude, he's amazing. He's a good quarterback. Then McCarthy. Ho-hum, right? Just know it. Neighbors, and then Odunze would be last out of those guys.
Okay. I have, I think I have 2 Neighbors, 2 or 3 Odunzes. I think I have 2 Mays and 1 McCarthy so far. So it's not that I haven't wanted to take McCarthy. I just took May instead, and just because I didn't have any of them really when I first started. I did have a McCarthy from a Devi league, so I inherited him up. But the other guys, I've been 104 is usually Malik Neighbors for me. 105, 106 are one of the quarterbacks usually for me.
7 May, 6 McCarthy, 4 Neighbors, 2 Odunze. That's how it shakes out for those guys.
Next one up is usually Brock Bowers at 108. And then 109, 110, I usually see Worthy, Brian Thomas, somewhere in those range. Is that kind of what you usually see between Bowers, Worthy, and Thomas?
For drafts I don't have picks in, yes. Yep, that's where that kind of shakes out. Worthy, Thomas, Brock Bowers, in some order. Usually people favor Bowers because they still think tight ends really matter, but they don't. So that's kind of where that shakes out. Actually, surprisingly, Eric, I wound up with 3 Brock Bowers shares. Right?
Nice.
3 of them. And most of those I got like 1 at the 112, for Christ's sakes. Wow. It's like, what? Might as well. I got 1 at the 110, and then maybe like a 109. I think I took Brock Bowers in a league where tight ends kind of matter.
Yeah. I had one I was considering Bowers in. It is a start 2 tight end league, and I believe the premium is 1.5. Let me look and see real quick. Receptions. Oh, 1.25, so even worse. So I did take Drake May over Bowers in that situation, even though it was 2 start 2 tight ends. I think I have 1 Bowers share that I've gotten so far. I don't have a whole lot of him. I just haven't. I think a lot of the leagues I play in are 1.5 or just regular 1. I haven't just really wanted to take him or overdraft him,
Yeah. For me, I mean, we'll get to these guys a little bit later, but for these picks, I'm hoping skew the ADP because probably 9, 10, somewhere in that range, I'm taking Bo Nix, Michael Penix.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we haven't got to those guys yet, but How about Worthy and Thomas? You have a lot of those guys yet?
I do have a fair share because sometimes those guys slip into the second round, early part of the
Yeah.
second round. Xavier Worthy 5 shares, and a lot of those I could tell you were tiebreakers where I prefer Brian Thomas. I think they're even, but I prefer Brian Thomas. But I probably had a Patrick Mahomes already on the roster, so it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
okay, just go ahead and stack it. But I would do it conversely if I had Trevor Lawrence on the roster. Like that'd be the tiebreaker for me.
Tiebreaker too. Right.
So, I don't know where Brian Thomas is. Oh yeah, okay, he's way up there.
Yeah.
8 shares of Brian Thomas, 5
8.
of Worthy.
Nice. Okay. I think I'm at 2 or 3 Worthy. I think only 1 Brian Thomas. Or no, 2 Brian Thomases. I'm sorry. So I have them pretty much equal to. I would prefer Brian Thomas if I don't have either of the quarterbacks as well. But I think these guys usually go 109, 110 usually in my leagues.
Right.
You might get a one of the quarterbacks going here, Bo Nix or Michael Penix as well. We haven't gotten to them yet, but I think those guys are in this conversation for 109, 110, 111, 112 is for sure.
Brian Thomas is my most owned wide receiver that matters. So you put that preference on it. The only guy above him is Jordan Whittington. For whatever reason, I got 13 shares off of waivers.
Yeah, as long as it's waivers and you didn't draft him.
No, and if I did draft him, I tell you it was at the 512 because I couldn't think of anybody else.
Couldn't think of anybody else, right? I that's totally understandable. I get it. All right, 111, 112. I might be driving a lot of this 111, and that's Jonathan Brooks. He is the one running back that has crept into the top first round there. I think I want to say pretty much every league that I've been in, he has been the first running back off the board as well. Has that been a lot of the case for you in your leagues?
Yeah, I say all but one. I saw one time Trey Benson went before.
Trey Benson, right?
One time, but the rest of it's Jonathan Brooks. It's weird because as these drafts go on later, Jonathan Brooks has gone higher and higher. Like he's really crept up in the back end. I didn't see a lot of him in the first round ever. I mean, 202, 203 was about the earliest you would ever see Jonathan Brooks come off the board in the earlier drafts, which I did a ton of. These later ones, I mean, he's like 201 sometimes. He's the 112. I haven't seen any of these like 108, 109 picks that people are talking about for him, but I do understand it. I mean, listening to J.J. Zacharysen's pod today, too, like it pretty clearly separated himself based on his draft capital in his model, so I get it. I get where it's coming from. He comped him a lot in his model to Kenneth Walker, who's been a fine dynasty asset for you. You know, it's not super sexy, but Kenneth Walker was a good prospect coming out, so to get that kind of praise in the model for JJZ is okay. I see it.
And the one thing with Brooks too is he's a really good receiver too. He's he's not like fucking Austin Eckler or Devin Achane. He's gonna catch 60, 70 balls or anything, but he can catch you 30 to 40 balls a year.
He's a good receiver in a Dave Canales offense, so we just watched make Rashad White into something. So
exactly what I was gonna get to. Rashad White, kind of the similar thing. They want to run the ball. They talked about in their press conferences they want to run the ball. I would expect Brooks maybe the first month. He's going to be eased in very slowly, I would imagine, and then maybe after the first month, they'll take the reins off of him and let him go. But I think it's always going to be a committee backfield there, with at least for Chuba and Brooks probably in year one. I don't see Brooks like getting like 25, 30 touches a game or anything like that anytime soon. So.
But yeah, it's a decent enough pick. I only walked away with 1 share so far.
One, wow.
1 share.
I think I probably have 4, 5, 6, somewhere in that range. Especially for leagues where I just need running backs. Point per carry leagues, I've been hammering him quite a bit. I'm in a lot of point per carry leagues. So I've got a lot of Jonathan Brooks for sure.
I mean, a lot of my teams were nuclear rebuilds, didn't want to throw a running back on, and the wide receivers are so deep. Like, I justify taking Ricky Pearsall and Xavier Legette over Jonathan Brooks for me personally, just for how I'm building out my rebuild teams, where it's like, I understand the value and he may climb too, but I also don't want that risk on my team at all.
Right, I get it. 112. This is kind of where I've seen him go quite a bit, and that's Lad McConkey for the Chargers. He's been going at the 112 a lot. A couple of drafts I have seen as well. He has gone off as wide receiver 4. He's went over Worthy and Brian Thomas.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Seen him go in the first round, sometimes at the 109, like it's
Yeah.
as high as that. So yeah, he goes as wide receiver 4 quite often here, and it's kind of like Jonathan Brooks on these later drafts that I'm doing. It's happening more and more often. So he's really shot up the board too. People are really on
Yeah.
board with him.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of lads so far? I think I might only have like one.
So this is the crazy thing, man. I was a big lad proponent pre NFL draft. I don't have a lot of lad because he just goes too early sometimes for me to take, right? Like I can't justify taking him over Worthy or Brian Thomas, but I understand people who do. Like I don't. It's not egregious by any stretch of the imagination. If that's your preference, go for it. I just prefer those other guys. So when I'm in a position to take lad, it's usually Brian Thomas or Xavier Worthy, and then by the time it comes back to me with my early second, I'm shit out of luck. Not getting them.
I think I've been in the similar stance as you on that. I'll take him, Worthy and Brian Thomas before him, but I just never get in that spot to get Lad. It's like everybody likes him, so that's one of the guys that Scott Connor talks about where people just like this guy, even if he kind of like sucks his first year. Like people are still gonna be in on to buy him next year because of his name and people like him a lot. It's kind of like he talks about it with Braylon Allen a lot.
I only
Same
got
thing.
4 shares of them, and 2 of those were post NFL draft. So
Right.
the other
And
2
then
I lucked in pre NFL.
And then the other thing too is we haven't got to them yet. They're up next, but I have a hard time taking Lad McConkey over a starting quarterback in Bo Nix and Superflex, or even Michael Penix, like the shot of Michael Penix. I think I'd rather have both of those guys over McConkey.
Yeah, I take the quarterbacks all day of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, on the Can't Bound podcast that Adam and I did for this week, that's what we were talking about. Just your preconceived notions about these quarterbacks and not liking them. And you know me, Eric. You guys are talking your good Bo Nix stuff pre NFL draft, and I kept telling you how much I hate the fucking guy. And he's terrible.
Right.
He's a first round NFL quarterback with top 12 draft capital. He's starting in 2024. Whether I like him or not, that goes out the fucking window, man. He's a quarterback in the NFL in a super flex league, so I make the case for taking him over Worthy and Brian Thomas. So again, another reason why I don't end up with Lad. 9-10, I'm taking a quarterback, him or Penix.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I've done the same thing myself. Even traded up a couple times for some Bo Nix in Dynasty or in Superflex Dynasty. I'm gonna take the quarterback there starting. I've learned my lesson over the years. Like even though Daniel Jones hasn't like hit, he has been useful in Superflex and in fantasy for you. And I think Bo Nix is going to be the same. Like there's going to be some games where it's complete dog shit, but there's going to be some games where Bo Nix throws for 330 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns, and he's starting for you. And Lad McConkey with his 5 for 45 isn't even going to be in your lineup. So I'm going to take the shot at a super flex quarterback like Bo Nix, even though he may never be a top 12 quarterback. I bet you he's got the shot to at least be a solid quarterback too at the back end, like in the 20s.
Yeah, I'm with you. Just look at you talked about Daniel Jones, but also Jared Goff. Just kind of that arc, right? Always worth something. Always worth something. As long as you're starting. I mean, there's only 32 starters, and there's about 5 you can write off every year. Like, ooh, no, I don't know about this guy, right? Like, how safe do you feel rostering Geno Smith? Like, could he get replaced by Sam Howell? The aforementioned Daniel Jones. Like, how safe do you feel about rostering him as your quarterback? The one guy I feel safe out of that whole group, though, I feel safe about rostering Michael Penix and Bo Nix, and especially Bo Nix if I'm just looking at 24, because I'm like, dude, starting games. Like, Zach Wilson and Jared Stidham are not going to be unseating this guy anytime soon.
Just kind of shout out to the underdog guys. Hayden Winks, he has been hammering and been all over Geno Smith this offseason since they got the new offensive coordinator, the coordinator from Washington, the college team. Just the way they ran that offense, he thinks Geno Smith is going to be one of those guys nobody wants, but he might be the guy who wins your league as like the quarterback too, especially in best ball. where he could have some monster games throwing the ball to those three receivers. If they run that Washington offense to perfection, he likes Geno Smith quite a bit.
Which is the exact reason I have so much Sam Howell and roster the shit
Yeah.
out of him and trade for him. Because I'm like, if Sam Howell, which I believe is a better quarterback than Geno Smith is, if he gets a shot and takes over the job, this offense could be cooking. Like Sam Howell with an offensive line and those weapons, holy shit.
Agree with you 100% on that. I agree. Yep. All right.
I don't know in the best ball draft if you want to take him in, Sam Howell for Christ's sakes, but maybe a few teams, right? Just throw a dart at the wall because you're gonna be different than everybody else.
If you're on the turn somewhere, I wouldn't mind going Geno, Sam Howell back to back and just lock the shit up.
Lock the Seattle quarterback room up.
Yep, just lock it up. I don't mind that.
With the way injuries and stuff have gone the last couple of years of quarterbacks, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and throw into those three receivers plus Noah Fant. Got two good running backs there. The offensive line, they just drafted a couple guys. Their injured guys are coming back. Yeah, that was my team that you remember last year. I thought they were going to the Super Bowl preseason, so it's a team I still really like.
I remember the Jets Seahawks prediction.
Jets Seahawks, yeah. How that just did not happen.
Yeah.
Fucking injuries.
Fuck it. It happened.
All right, so 201 is where Bo Nix is going. So I think he should be a little higher. We kind of talked through Bo Nix a little bit. After that is Keon Coleman, Trey Benson, and Michael Penix Jr. So what do you think about those three?
Benson, I think, is very close to Jonathan Brooks. Definitely prefer Brooks over him.
Right.
But, I don't hate when somebody goes and takes Trey Benson before Jonathan Brooks because he does have a few things going for him. He doesn't have an ACL. It's Arizona's offense. It's not Carolina's offense.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not a projection. We kind of know what Arizona's offense is, and they got a hell of a lot better this offseason through the draft with Marv. So Benson's going in a good spot, which is why I have a lot more Benson than I do Brooks. Just flat out. It's cheaper. You can get him a lot more spots. Keon Coleman and Ladd for me are a tie, but definitely Ladd has really separated himself from Keon. I thought the Keon thing, there must just still be some stuff lingering from that 4.640, huh? Right?
Yeah.
It's
I've seen some people be
so much.
I've seen some people be really convicted on Keon Coleman too. I've seen some trade ups for him. My one league where it is one quarterback league, it's the only one I'm in. Keon Coleman went fucking third overall.
Whoa.
Yeah.
One QB for the loss.
Yeah. So there was that. So
the only issue I have is these quarterbacks. Take them higher, man. They should be first round picks.
They should at least be back end first. I agree with you. Ladd maybe the 201. Bo Nix moves up in there. So yeah, I agree with you. I've gotten I got a Penix at 205. I've seen that a couple times with some of the Savage members. Gotten Michael Penix at 205, and they didn't even have to trade up for him. He just fell in their lap. Yeah. So I'm taking that all day. I only have one Penix share because he did fall to 205. But I've most of my leagues, I think Penix usually goes 111, 112, 201. There's some people that are convicted on him too that they're going to trade up for him at the end of the first, beginning of the second round if he's there.
I got 8 shares of Bo Nix and 7 of Michael Penix.
Nice. I think I know I have one Penix and I think I have 2 Bo Nixes.
Yeah, you'll love it. My most rostered quarterbacks for rookies, Devin Leary, number 1.
My man. And then Jordan Travis.
10 shares of Devin Leary, and then Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix.
Okay, nice. I have a share of at least all 6 of them, the top 6. So I have at least one share in a league of all 6. So I'm happy with that. I at least have some exposure to all 6.
I have at least 5 shares of all 6.
Jesus fuck. This guy is a fucking degenerate. He is in way too many leagues.
At least 5 of all 6. So then I can throw a free Sam Hartman on waivers. Just cause.
Yeah, that's a roster clogger, buddy.
Hey, it's a free Sam Hartman. It's a quarterback.
Woof. Okay.
Who's the backup in Washington for Jaden Daniels, by the way?
Marcus Mariota.
Yuck.
So yeah, I get it.
So Sam Hartman. Free Sam Hartman.
I get it. Trey Benson is probably my most owned rookie that I've drafted so far. Him and Brooks. I've gotten them both on some of the same team, so I've been happy with that. But yeah, I think Trey Benson is one guy I have drafted a shit ton of, and it's different ranges. It can go from 202, 203, where he's at right now in our ADP, to like 208, 209. He's fallen to in a couple leagues as well. People are taking the receivers or quarterbacks ahead of him, so I've gotten Trey Benson in multiple different spots, and like I said, I play in a lot of point per carry leagues, so kind of just pressing the button on him.
I don't have a lot of these running backs in that range. We'll get to it in a few picks, though, like Blake Corum. Only got two of him, only four Trey Benson. It's because in these first rounds, usually, as you can tell, I'm taking quarterbacks and just pissing people off. Like, I'll take... there's been so many drafts, Eric, where I've gotten 6 out of 6 of the quarterbacks. Just all of them.
Yeah.
Every one of them. People going into
took
the
all
rookie
6
draft.
in one draft?
People go into the draft thinking they're getting a quarterback in 2024, and I'm like, nah. You will when you trade me, but you're not getting one. So like I take quarterbacks in the first round. Second round, I am just hammering the piss out of all these wide receivers. The Keons, the Lads if they're there, Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas if they fall, Xavier Legette, Ricky Pearsall, Adonai Mitchell. There's just so many good wide receivers, and that's where the running backs go, so I usually don't get them. All my running backs have really come once we get to these third and fourth and fifth rounds where I'm just running back, like top of the list every time.
Right. All right, so after Penix at the 204, I would say this clump of wide receivers usually goes in this range in a lot of my drafts. So we'll kind of dissect them here. So Ricky Pearsall, 205, 206, Adonai Mitchell, and 207, Xavier Legette. Is that kind of where you see these guys falling in that range?
Usually. Yeah. Sometimes I'm the guy who takes Legette higher than he should, which is why.
Yeah, you and Dynasty burying together.
Yeah, like I take Legette over Pearsall and Adonai, personally. I don't take him over Coleman or Ladd, though, so not that psychotic.
I have one Legette, and I took that pre-NFL draft. I have not taken him in any of my drafts so far. I think I have 2 or 3 Pearsalls and 2 or 3 Adonais. I prefer both of those guys over Legette. If I do have a Bryce Young, maybe I should consider Legette, but I don't think I've been in that situation yet. But I do like Adonai, like with the Colts. I like his talent still. Hopefully they can get his head on right. He has Reggie Wayne as a coach, so I do like that. Hopefully Reggie Wayne can, make him into a pro. From his press conferences, it sounded like he had his head on straight, so hopefully that just continues. Pearsall, I really liked him a lot. I've seen him fall a little bit too, just because he is the 5th option on the team right now. But they're going to move Debo or Ayuk at some point. Maybe not this year, but the end of next year he should. So he should have a starting spot next year.
Adonai's a tough one. I have 0 shares post-NFL draft. The only share I have of him was pre-NFL draft.
Interesting. Okay. Is that just because you don't want to take him?
He goes too high. Yep, he just
Where
goes
do you
too
see?
high.
What's too high for you?
Sometimes he goes at 203, 204.
Okay. I've seen him go that high too. I'm pressing the button on him about this range, 206, 207, 208. Somewhere in there is where I'm usually taking Adonai.
Out of all the wide receivers you listed, the Ricky Pearsall, Legette, Adonai, he's dead last for me. I just wind up with he's gone because I take one of the other guys.
Is that also because Adam owns 37 shares?
Yeah, like Adam's just he's trying to speak it into existence.
I guess.
It would be less, but Adam chickened out and left a lot of leagues this year. So.
Yeah, that too.
He's not quite the degenerate I am.
Yes.
It's okay. Not many people are. Scott is. You are.
Right. All right. 208 is where Blake Corum is going. I've seen him go from anywhere from like 204, 205 to back end of round 2 as well. So Blake Corum is usually where he falls as RB3. That's pretty much how the RBs have gone. Brooks, Penson, Blake Corum. I haven't seen too much change off of that. 209, Troy Franklin, way too high for me. Yeah.
Same page. I took him one time, and I think it's because he was there at like the 302, and I'd already taken Bo Nix in a best ball league, and I was like, fuck it. Why not? Let's get one share post-NFL draft.
I don't think I'd be comfortable taking him until the third round, and that's probably
Same.
more like the middle of the third round.
Same. I
So
can't make a case for him over Polk, Roman Wilson,
yeah,
Jalen Wright, Lloyd,
yeah,
Jermaine Burton, for Christ's sakes.
yeah, agreed. Yep, 100%. Jalen Polk is next at 210. I've seen him fall to the third round a lot lately. Jalen Wright, I see this is probably about the range Jalen Wright goes, around 210, 211. I've seen him go there a lot.
Yep.
I've taken him there a couple times in some point per carry leagues. So I might be contributing to this 211 ranking. And then 212 is Roman Wilson. So we talked about Franklin there. How much Polk and Wilson do you have?
See, this is where they like really start. I have some shares sprinkled in just because the running backs were gone, but I was really hammering the shit out of the Marshawn Lloyd, Jalen Wright whenever I could get them, and then like some of these other running backs that we haven't even got to yet, like in those spots, I'm like, yeah, why not just take a running back, man? I haven't touched it yet, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, these guys are pretty far down on the list as far as only 3 shares of Jalen Polk.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is depressing. Roman Wilson, none.
I don't have any Roman Wilson either. I'm with you. And it's not that I don't like him. I just haven't been in the position to take him, or there's somebody there that I like a little bit better.
Yep. Two, with Roman Wilson, I have a tough time when he is available because usually Jermaine Burton's there, and I'm not going to lie to you, I probably prefer Jermaine Burton, to be completely honest.
I think my thing is usually Blake Corum or Jalen Wright or maybe Ben Sinnott is there, Jalen Polk, and I usually take those guys before Roman Wilson. So that's why I haven't been able to get a lot of Roman Wilson. I do want some, so hopefully in my drafts coming up here within the next week or two, I can maybe snag at least 1 or 2 shares or so I have them.
Yep. Ben Sinnott was an interesting one you threw in there because I have taken none of him post NFL draft. Like I'm
Okay.
just,
We'll get back. Yeah, we'll get to him
NFL
here.
Draft, but tight end being in that range is interesting.
Yeah, we'll get to him here in a second because he's up next. 2 other questions real quick. So with Jalen Polk, I've been able to, both of my leagues I have Drake May, I made sure I got Jalen Polk. There was one league where I was up at, I think the 207 or 206. I traded back 3 spots, got an extra draft pick, and still got Jalen Polk, who I paired up with Drake May. Have you done that a lot? Have you take Polk and May together?
Not consciously.
Okay.
Like it's never been planned. I haven't thought about the stack.
Okay.
Usually, when I get to these rounds, I'm just okay. What's my board look like? Who do I like? Done. I haven't never really thought about it. I wish I would now. Now that you kind of mentioned it, because you could have got it done. I could have stacked just about every Drake May share that I have with a Jalen Polk. To be completely honest,
Yeah.
I would have paid attention.
I'm always kind of thinking about those things with stacking, so that's kind of, I always do that with quarterbacks and receivers. But yeah, I have done that twice, so I was pretty happy that I was able to get Polk with me. And I've kind of like gambled too, so like I'll just bring up this league real quick that I did it in. So at the 205 is where I took Ben Sinnott. That's that start 2 tight end league. So the tight ends usually go a little bit higher. So on the board still was Burton, Adane, Jalen Polk, Jalen Wright, Marshawn Lloyd, those types of players. So I wanted to make sure I got Sinnott, and I was kind of happy with any of those other guys, but I was hoping I would get Jalen Polk because I took Drake May, and then Jermaine Burton went right after me, and then Adane Mitchell. So Jalen Polk fell right into my lap there. 2 picks later, I was able to get him. And pair him up with Drake May, so I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I'm looking at that one I talked about at the start where it's just dragging on forever. It's just got to the 301. It just got to the 301. The back end of the second round was Corum, Burton, Jatavian Sanders, and Adnai Mitchell fell to the 212.
Nice. That's good value for Adnai, I think.
Polk still hasn't gone off the board, neither has Franklin.
Yeah, like I was saying, I have seen Polk fall to the third round, and God, he's an auto pick for me in the third round easily. Pick 37 in the NFL draft, fall into the third round, sign me up.
Here's a live question for you. I did take Drake May in this league at 104. I
Okay.
pick at 304. Do I try to trade up a couple spots here just to lock up Polk?
I think I would. because I mean,
what do you think? What do you think we send? I pick at 4 and 8 in the third round, and then I got the 404. Would you send the 404 and the 304 for the 301?
yeah, I think I would do that and see if the owner will take it.
See if they bite. I like
Yeah.
that. Let's get a deal and we'll see if it gets done on air.
There you go. That'll work. And then before we move on and go to the round 3, Corum and Jalen Wright. So those guys have pretty much been universal RB3, RB4. I know Jalen Wright went in round 4. Are you comfortable taking him at the end of the second, or are you kind of just waiting till the third?
I've taken him at 212 a few times.
Okay. Do you take Marshawn Lloyd over him?
The earlier drafts I did, I took Marshawn Lloyd over him. If they're both available now, just to balance out my portfolio and get nice exposure, I'm comfortable taking Jalen Wright too. So I flipped it, and now I take Wright over Lloyd. So
yeah, I think just that landing spot for Wright is keeping him in this back end round 2 for sure. If you can get him in round 3, I would press the button in a hurry. But he's pretty much have snuck into the back end of round 2 in pretty much all my drafts I've seen lately.
Yep.
Round 3. So Ben Sinnott, who we just talked about, I have taken Sinnott in leagues where it matters for tight ends. Start 2 tight ends or a 1.75 premium, something like that is where I've taken my Ben Sinnott. So I think I have 2 or 3 shares of him, so that's where I've gone with him. 302 is Marshawn Lloyd. I know you're a big Marshawn Lloyd fan.
Yep.
I am a fan as well. I just haven't gotten him yet. Like, I've seen him on my draft list. I'm like, oh, shit, I want him. I'm like 3 or 4 picks away, and he always goes. So I haven't been able to get a Marshawn Lloyd share yet.
Yeah, I got a ton of them.
Send me one.
I'm a big fan. Big fan of him.
Yeah.
You talk about we talked about it when we did the episode last week, but the range of outcomes for Jalen Wright are very good in his situation where if there's an injury, Josh Jacobs ain't the most secure thing in front of Marshawn Lloyd holding him back either, right? This is a guy who we saw play like shit last year, really did.
Yeah.
In that contract, they can move on from him, and I'm like, well, what if Marshawn Lloyd is the lead back in Green Bay? That's somebody everybody's going to want on their team.
Absolutely, yep.
And to the point, I think we got done with the show, and they came out. LaFleur came out and talked about how he saw a lot of Aaron Jones and Marshawn Lloyd, and that's why they wanted to get him on the team. I'm like, fuck yeah.
That's good praise, and I know the running back coach did an interview over the last couple of days as well, and said, "No, we want to get Marshawn on the field as soon as possible." They want to play him a lot, so I expect this to kind of be the same usage that they've done with A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones over the last couple of years. I think it's going to kind of be the similar usage here between Lloyd and Jacobs. Like, they might be like 50-50 running backs.
Ooh, that'd be nice, especially in his rookie year. In that offense.
Yeah, it might be more 60-40 or whatever. Lloyd's going to have to learn how to hold on to the fucking ball because that could be his death nail, but...
hit up Tiki Barber. Get that.
Yeah,
that
right.
thing
High and tight.
High and tight.
And then you mentioned Sinnott, so you don't have any Sinnott yet in any of your leagues?
Not post-draft, no.
Yeah. Do you think 301 is pretty comfortable range that you would take him if he was available to you?
I'm taking Lloyd. I'm taking Burton. I'm taking Baker. I'm taking Jalen McMillan. Kamani Vidal and Ray Davis all over Ben Sinnott, which is why
you have 0 of them. I get it. Okay.
Walk away with 0 of them.
Do you take Sanders over Sinnott, or are you Sinnott over
No,
Sanders?
we talked about it on the stream where I thought it was really 50-50, on the draft day stream. Now I'm like, I couldn't justify it at all. The draft capital is just too good for Ben Sinnott, where it's like,
right.
Listen, he's a good athlete. He meets all the RAS scores. If I'm taking a tight end, it's going to be 100% Ben Sinnott at this point.
Okay. I'm comfortable taking him at the 301-ish, but it would depend on league format. Like just a regular start 1 tight end with a 1.5 premium league, I'm with you. I'm going to take a Marshawn Lloyd. I'm probably going to take a Jermaine Burton, a couple of those guys over Ben Sinnott. But I think in round 3, somewhere in the mid round 3 is probably where I'd be more than fine taking him. Like 301, late round 2 in the right league, I'd be okay taking him too.
For sure. Yep, I'm with you.
303 is Malachi Corley. I have 0 Malachi Corley. No shock.
I made myself draft a share of him the other day. Just one.
Yeah, I've kind of have felt the same. Like if he fell to like the mid round 3 or late round 3 in one of my leagues, I'll probably press the button just so I have one. But there's a lot of fans out there, to be honest. So I just haven't gotten any of them. And if it's 303, just kind of looking off of Koopa's ADP here, there's multiple guys I'd rather have over him.
Yeah, I'm looking at where I took him in this league.
I mean, we've talked about it too.
307 for me.
307, okay. I've talked about it. Scott Connor has talked about it a lot. Like round 3, round 4, round 5, I'm usually pressing the button on running backs unless it's like a round 3 wide receiver who went on day 2. Something like that. I'll take a couple of those guys, but those guys in a normal rookie year where it's not as loaded as this one is, those guys are going in round 2 usually. We're getting a couple guys that go on day 2 slipping into round 3 here in rookie drafts. So that's kind of where I've been pushing my buttons on round 3, 4, 5 is these running backs.
304. I could take it back. I got 2 shares of it.
Cal, okay.
I started thinking about the Malachi Corley thing, kind of like Bo Nix. I wasn't a fan of the player. You know, I talked bad about him, the low ADOT and being worse than the Visca Chenault. But the one thing in the last week that like creeped into my head was like the Aaron Rodgers thing with him. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what if he's Randall Cobb? Like, what if? I definitely want at least 1 or 2 shares of the what if he's Aaron Rodgers' new Randall Cobb.
The one thing with Rodgers too, like maybe early on in his career when he had Cobb and Nelson, it worked, but later in his career, those rookie receivers like kind of got buried if they didn't like run the right routes and stuff.
Right.
And Malachi Corley, he's obviously doesn't have a lot of experience with running certain routes and the full route tree that like Aaron Rodgers might expect him to run. So it's kind of like that, just his manufactured touch kind of stuff is probably what's going to work for him. It's just not for me. Not over a Jermaine Burton or Jalen McMillan or something.
He's only going to run 4 routes in Aaron Rodgers' offense anyway, so just don't fuck those 4 up. He'll be fine. He's going to run a drag. He's going to run an out, an in, and a slant. That's it.
And a screen.
And a screen.
Yeah. So
5. My bad. 5.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. So if that's all they use him as, then sweet. But it's still not a guy that I want to take over Jermaine Burton, though, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yep. 304 is Jatavian Sanders. I have not gotten any Jatavian Sanders in my leagues. It seems like Sanat goes and then Sanders goes not that long after. And I just haven't been able to pick up Sanders, especially in the right kind of league, even in... Like I was talking about a 1 quarterback, 1.5 premium. I'm not taking a Sanders.
Nope.
Not over some of these other guys.
I'm with you. I don't have a lot of him either. Just for the simple fact he goes too high. I'll take him at the 312, the 401, but not where he's going most of the time.
Okay. 305, 306, 307, 308 is Jermaine Burton, Javon Baker, Bucky Irving, and Jalen McMillan. So... Burton, me and you have been taking a lot of. I think I have probably 3, 4, 5 shares of him. Javon Baker, I haven't taken any of. I wasn't like a giant fan of his. I could take him with some of my Drake Mays, but this, like I said, this is kind of where I'm pressing the button on running backs, and I'm not taking a day 3 wide receiver over some of these running backs. So that's why I probably don't have much of him. Bucky Irving, surprisingly, and not like... I'm taking Ray Davis before him. I'm taking, Kamani Vidal or something like that. Or usually Bucky Irving goes before I even pick those guys. So I haven't had a lot of Bucky Irving. I think I have 1 or 2. And then Jalen McMillan at 308, which I have probably was one of my favorite receivers in the draft. But I still don't have a ton of them. I think I have like 3 or 4.
I got a lot of Javon Baker when he was a 4th rounder.
Okay.
And then he crept up, and then there was people taking him over Jalen Polk and saying he's the number 1 wide receiver. So
Really? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I saw some Javon Baker in the second round. Like, what the fuck are we doing here, right?
Yeah, that's when you go fish for that 2025 first from that guy.
And then Bucky Irving. I got one share of Bucky Irving, and it's from a C2C league.
So I'm guessing that's probably going to be your only share.
That's going to be my only share.
Okay. Sure. I mean, I would still like to take some Bucky. I just haven't been in the position. Like I said, I'm taking a lot of these other running backs.
Goes way too high, don't he?
Yeah. Javon Baker over some of these running backs I just couldn't do. McMillan and one of the other receivers that we haven't gotten to yet, I'm kind of seeing where he's at. There he is. He's in the 4th round, which is Luke McCaffrey. Those guys were day 3 wide receivers. Those are the last 2 day 3 receivers that usually go, are McMillan and McCaffrey, and nobody wants them. And I'm like, sign me up for those guys. I'll take some shares of those guys that were picked on day 2.
I've seen both of them fall. McMillan falls a little bit more than McCaffrey sometimes and gets more forgotten about, which is strange. Probably because of the name McCaffrey. Like, yeah, you get to the late 3rd and somebody sees the name McCaffrey and they're like, fuck it, push the button. McMillan, on the other hand, like, I get him in round 4 a lot for a
I've got him in round 4. Yep.
Like, what the hell's going on here? I'll take this, man.
Yeah, and he should Trey Palmer. Yeah, he should be a starting slot for Tampa Bay. Or,
I think by off-season report so far, they're going to use him on the outside, and they're going to move Godwin into the slot.
Move Godwin in, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I really liked McMillan. He was one of my favorite receivers in the draft. I had him above Polk. So, yeah, that's a guy I'll definitely take as well.
And he can win on the outside, like he did at Washington. So, yep. You don't have to worry about that part.
Yep. The next 4 picks, so 4 running backs on a cluster. Braylon Allen, 309, Kamani Vidal, 310, Audric Estime, 311, and Ray Davis, 312. I think Braylon Allen and Ray Davis I have taken a lot of in this range. I have quite a bit of those guys just because Braylon Allen, it's the talent, man. Like, he's more talented than Kamani Vidal. Estime, they're kind of like the same thing. Ray Davis, I'd say, I think I had Ray Davis above Braylon Allen, or they were one spot, so they're not that far off. But yeah, I mean, I can't underestimate Braylon Allen's talent. Like, and to get him in round 3, I'll take him all day.
Ray Davis, in my opinion, should be the number 1 out of that group.
Yeah, that's how I usually draft it. I usually take Ray Davis first. Yep.
But it doesn't happen if you don't, or we're, at least for me, if I'm not the one doing it, it doesn't seem to happen a lot.
Right.
I really enjoyed the early drafts, getting a lot of Kamani Vidal, and then he started creeping into the mid-3rd just consistently all the time. Yep. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But it was good because I got a shit ton of Ray Davis, and then Braylon Allen's fallen to the 4th sometimes.
Yeah, I've had him fall to the 4th too, yep.
So, like, I'm with you. I got a ton of Ray Davis. I got a ton of Braylon Allen. And like Bucky Irving, I have no Audric Estime.
Right. Let's see here. Superflex rookies. All right, so next one up. Estime. Have you taken a lot of him? That was another one I wanted to ask about.
Got 0. Sub 90 speed score backs. Fuck out of here. Not on my roster till you produce something.
Okay.
Then I'll buy you later.
Interesting. Okay.
Not a big fan. Like, I like his tape, but he's so fucking slow. So slow.
Right.
Like, I can't even wrap my head around who else he profiles at.
Right.
Like, maybe LeGarrette Blount, but Blount had a better speed score because he weighed 20 pounds more.
Right. Okay. I can see that. Let's see here. Next one up is 401. So Brendan Rice goes at the 401. 402 Spencer Rattler. 403 Luke McCaffrey, and 404 Devontae Walker. Brendan Rice goes way too high. I think that's just a legacy name. People see Jerry Rice's kid. Rattler, I haven't taken any Spencer Rattler yet. Have you?
I might have 1 or 2. Let me go look at the exact numbers on Spencer Rattler, but usually I'm not. Nope, didn't take any. No Spencer Rattler. Okay. And it's interesting, you talk about him in the early 4th. Like, I see this dude in the mid-3rd all the time, too.
Interesting.
There's a lot of people taking him in the mid-3rd.
Interesting.
They really hate Derek Carr, apparently. It's fine. I just, I'm with you. Like, I'm in hammer the piss out of running back mode or snatch up Jalen McMillan or Luke McCaffrey when they fall.
Okay. Let me make a copy of this because somebody's using it at the same time, and it's really pissing me off.
You got Will Shipley at the 405, Theo Johnson 406, Jordan Travis, your boy, at the 7, and Garendo at the 408. Isaac Garendo.
That works.
How much Jordan Travis you got? All of it?
Honestly, I'm waiting till waivers to pick him up, and usually somebody drafts him. So
you don't get him?
Yeah, I don't get him a lot. Yeah.
What about Garendo? He seems to be kind of the forgotten guy.
I think I've taken like one of him, but that's not a guy that I've taken a lot of. Will Shipley falls quite a bit. I've been taking a lot of Will Shipley. McCaffrey, I have a couple of. Devontae Walker, I have one that was a Devy league, and that's all. I'm not taking him. Round 4 wide receiver to Baltimore, no thanks.
Pretty much. I didn't have very much Devontae Walker. I have one share, and it's a C2C league. So, kind of like Bucky Irving.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm good, man. Guy doesn't know how to run routes for shit.
No. Shipley as a Eagle, do you have a lot of him?
Will Shipley is like a lot like Braylon Allen. I put him in the same boat here, especially with these later drafts. They fall to the 4th round way too often.
Yep.
And if they do, as soon as I come up, can't press that button fast enough.
Okay. Theo Johnson at 406. I don't have any of.
No,
Jordan Travis, I've taken a couple spots, but I'm kind of round 5. I'll take him, but I ain't taking him in round 4. There's too many running backs that are still there that I like. So even though I really really like the guy and I think he's gonna have a good career, I just think for my teams I need to take the running back.
I'm with you.
408 was Garendo. 409 was Tyrone Tracy. I'm surprised that he's not higher. I've seen him go a lot higher than this. I've seen him go in the range with the Ray Davises and Estimes.
Yep.
So I'm kind of shocked that he's at the 409. But if you're getting Tyrone Tracy at 409, congratulations. Do a backflip. You are winning life at the moment.
All those rookie drafts that kicked off real early, like the day of the draft, so right after, immediately. I got a shit ton of Tyrone Tracy in the 4th and the 5th. These later ones, no fucking chance.
Yeah.
No chance. Just like Kamani Vidal. Once the word got out, not a sleeper no more.
Yep. 100%.
No more.
410 was Eric All, the tight end from Cincinnati. I think I have like one share of him in some leagues that I took like in the late round. So this is probably usually where he goes.
Yeah, I don't have any of my. Oh, I got 7 Eric Halls.
Okay. Was that all pre-draft?
I'm looking how many were post-draft.
Okay.
2. One of them was off waivers, for fuck's sake, too.
Nice. Hey,
it was only a 4-round rookie draft, so.
Right. 411 Malik Washington to Miami, and 412 Dylan Lobb, the running back to the Vegas Raiders. I think that those are probably where I see these guys usually go as round 4. So I've taken some Lobs. I haven't taken any Malik Washingtons yet.
Yeah, I'm looking one share of Malik Washington.
Okay.
That's all I got. Dylan Lobby, I got 5.
Yeah, I think I have 3 or 4, so I'm with you on that one.
I don't mind that one either because that's usually a guy who goes in the 5th in most of the drafts. I mean,
yep.
I know ADP's got him at the back end 4th, but sometimes he's just a mid-5th where it's just like, dude's probably got to roll right away.
Right. 501 is Jacob Cowing. I don't have any of him. I'm just not taking receivers in this range.
If I get him, it's off waivers.
Yeah. 502 Cade Stover. Like the player, don't like the landing spot, and I think I have one of him, and that was pre-NFL draft.
Waiver pick again for me.
Yeah. Jaheim Bell, same thing, was a Devy league. I had him. That's the only spot I have him. I'm not taking him in any of my leagues.
I probably took him like 4 times, but as Mr. Irrelevant, 512.
Okay.
Mr. Irrelevant of the rookie draft. It's like, fuck it, why not? Jaheim Bell.
Yeah. 504 is Joe Milton.
Get in on waivers a lot too.
Yeah, waiver guy I see a lot. 505 Frank Gore. So the first UDFA guy, I see him sometimes going round 4, and he goes before the Dylan Lobs. Yeah, he goes before like Rasheen Ali, Isaiah Davis, some of those other guys like that got drafted. I'm like, I can't do it. If he falls to waivers, sure, I'll take a spot, a swipe at him and see what happens. But there's no way in hell I'm drafting Frank Gore Jr.
Yeah, because I have all the Ray Davis already.
Yeah,
and I already made my bet.
And then the 406 was or 506. I'm sorry, was Rasheen Ali. I've been taking him a lot in the 4th because that's where a lot of these running backs are already gone. Maybe I'm lucky to get him in the 5th, but I've been hammering Rasheen Ali in the 4th.
My most owned rookie, Rasheen Ali. 17 shares, Eric.
Wow. Okay, you're like on the Ty Chandler stratosphere when I had 26 shares of Ty Chandler.
Yeah, I get Rasheen Ali everywhere in the 5th round. It's the Tyrone Tracy, Kamani Vidal, like, people push that shit up and they didn't become sleepers. Somebody forgot to push up the Rasheen Ali one, so that's the one I get all the time. Like, all right, well, fuck you guys.
This is Mike's Masters moment, a tradition like any other. Drafting Rasheen Ali.
Rasheen Ali, man. It's a good situation for him, right? Justice Hill scares me none. Keaton Mitchell had a devastating knee injury, and Derrick Henry is 97 years old.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So I've been pressing the button on Ali a lot. I probably have 5 or 6. I'm not at your 17 yet, but I do have quite a bit of Ali.
I got a lot to trade you if you want him.
There you go. 507 Jared Wiley. I would take him before Bell and Stover and probably Theo Johnson even too. Like,
I'll take Theo Johnson, but Wiley
I could argue. Yeah, you could argue that. But I like Jared Wiley. I don't have any of them though, but I'm not taking tight ends like in this range. But it is a guy I like. I think he should be a little higher.
He's not bad. I get him on waivers quite a bit though, but I'm with you. I'd take him over Bell and Cade Stover.
Yeah. 508 is Johnny Wilson. 509 Jamari Thrash from the Browns. Have you been taking any of those guys?
I take Johnny Wilson at the back end of the 5th quite a bit, just like in the hopes of that's going to be the next dude to convert to tight end.
Right. Yeah.
And get a little hype. Jamari Thrash, not so much, but I've been more interested in him, not because I think he's going to have a big receiving work, but the new kick return rules in leagues that reward kick return points. I'm thinking like maybe okay. Kind of feels like a guy who could be back there just with the way he plays. So
yeah,
taking a shot or two at the back end of the 5th or adding him off waivers.
Yeah, I think I've taken maybe one Wilson that was late. I don't have any Thrash, but I've seen a couple of these guys go to waivers too, so maybe I can get a share or two there. 510 is a guy I've taken a shit ton of too, and that's Isaiah Davis from the Jets. Obviously, he's behind Braylon Allen, Breece Hall, Izzy Vanakanda, but I really liked the profile. I liked him coming out quite a bit. I'm just going to take the chance that, maybe Braylon Allen fails and Isaiah Davis is better. And it's a 5th round pick, a free pick, somebody I can hold on my taxi. And it's a running back. So I like Isaiah Davis a lot. I've taken a lot of him in round 5s.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any of them. I see him on waivers quite a bit, and I'll throw $1 or something at him, but usually get snatched up by somebody else, so I don't have too much Isaiah Davis.
Yeah, I mean, for the running backs in round 5, I'd easily take Isaiah Davis before Frank Gore.
Yeah.
I definitely would take Ali. But yeah, Isaiah Davis is like this one running back that just falls, and like the rest of these guys are like round 6, 7 draft picks or undrafted that are after him. I'd rather take the guy I know that got drafted in round whatever it was, 5 or 6. So. Aeneas Smith 5'11" and Michael Pratt at the 5'12". I knew you have a lot of Aeneas Smith. I just took one of him finally in a deep league. Pratt's I had a bunch pre-NFL draft that I still am just carrying.
Aeneas Smith, there's your starting slot for the Philadelphia Eagles, 2024. Okay. I mean, it might take a couple games while they phase out Devontae Parker, but he's gonna play in the slot. And he's really built for it, too, in what they want to do. Just that kind of underneath dynamicism. where they let Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown run the deeper routes, and he does more of the Malachi Corley stuff. But he's going to be the returner, too. So a lot of these leagues that have kick return points, Anai Smith in the 5th round all day, because he's going to be the returner for the Eagles as well.
Okay. I can get behind that. All right.
No Pratt.
No Pratts. Okay.
No
I
Pratt.
think Pratt could be the backup for Jordan Love.
Very
I think
well
he's
could be.
better than Sean Clifford.
That's
So
not
I
a
think
big
that's going
bar
to be
set.
that's going to be a camp battle, but I think Pratt beats out Clifford, honestly.
I can get behind that one, too.
601 is going to be Ryan Flournoy, the receiver that went to Dallas. I don't have any of him. Haven't picked him up. Cody Schrader, I had a couple pre-draft, but that's a guy I'd pick up on waivers after the draft for some fab. I'd be okay with holding on to him and see what happens in training camp, because he's one of those guys that, he's overcome a lot just in his college career, and he's been that underdog type of player. So like, doubting this guy is not something I want to do. So I'd like to have a couple shares of him at least.
I don't mind him. He usually gets scooped up, though, or he gets drafted in the 5th round. So a lot of these guys, like when I'm looking at it, Flournoy I do throw some money at for UDFA, right? Just throw some dollars at him, see what happens if I can get him on my team, best ball purposes. Schrader, same thing. The next guy, though, A.J. Barner, 0. Like,
Right,
keep your blocking tight ends, boys.
Right. Yeah, if you just throw some dollars at him like he's a fucking stripper. And just fucking...
I throw pennies at him. Make it hail.
Ooh, alright, so I just made a trade on the clock, so now I'm up and I can pick whoever I want. This is going to be fun.
Let's go. Who are you taking?
This team is hurting from some receivers, so Jalen McMillan is the last of the, 3rd-round receivers that are out there. Or do I go with Old Faithful Ray Davis?
Ooh, Ray Davis.
You think you go Ray Davis, huh?
Yes.
Garendo's out there, Braylon, Will Shipley, Tyrone Tracy. I might be able to get one of those guys in round 5, though, is kind of what I'm thinking.
Ray Davis.
You're still going Ray Davis. So here's what I got at running back. Dowdle, Foreman, Gainwell, Gibbs, Hull, McCaffrey, McLaughlin, Swift, Jamal Williams.
I would go Ray Davis or Garendo, but I know you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I have drafted Jermaine Burton and Pearsall in this draft, so I do have 2 receivers. So, all right, yeah, fuck it. I'm with you. I love Ray Davis. I'm going Ray Davis.
We could make that into a t-shirt. I love Ray Davis. You and I
Hell
will wear
yeah.
it around everywhere.
Yeah, I'm just going to take him. Just be done with it. All right, so now that I made my pick, let's go back to this ADP here. If somebody would stop changing the fucking page. All right. We did that. Schrader. So Barner, yeah, I have 0 Barner, not interested. Jalen Coker,
Nope.
undrafted receiver, not interested. 605 is Sam Hartman. As you said, you had a couple. I have 0. Not really interested. Cornelius Johnson, no thanks.
Nope.
Jordan Whittington, you said you have a bunch of. I could see Whittington.
Fuck ton of Whittington for some reason. A
Yeah.
lot of it was pre-NFL, but I even when waivers open, I'm like, why not?
Okay.
Why not? Like,
I can
he's
see
got
that.
an interesting skill set where he's kind of that. He really feels like that kind of like Puka Koopa Cup role.
Yeah.
Right? But without the draft capital or their talent.
Right. I get it. He's like a bigger body. He can.
Yeah.
I get it. He could be a nice little possession receiver. I get it.
I just throw a buck at him. If I find out in camp he's wide receiver 5 on the depth chart, then fuck out of here. Get off my team.
Right. Yep, I could see that. I'm with you on that. 608 Bub Means. Have you taken any of him?
Not in the draft, but I pick him up quite a bit on waivers.
Pick him up on waivers. Okay.
He's got an interesting size speed profile. And you saw like an A.T. Perry kind of have some moments last year, and you're like, why not fucking Bub Means?
Yep. 609 Jawad Jordan.
None.
I haven't taken any of him or picked him up.
Slow, shitty running backs will not be on my roster.
Tanner McLaughlin.
Lot of him.
That's a guy I will pick up off waivers for free.
Yep.
I haven't drafted a whole bunch of him. in this actual rookie draft since the drafts have finished. So that's a guy I actually kind of think he's better than Eric All. I liked him better than Eric All. I think he might beat out Eric All at some point. But I'll pick him up for free off of waivers. That's a guy I'll hammer all day.
I had priority waiver ad for me. I most owned rookie tight end, Tanner
Okay.
McLaughlin.
Nice. Jace McClellan, 6'11". No. There, he was a 6th or 7th round pick to Atlanta for a running back. He's going to be behind Bijan and Tyler Algier. I have not taken very much of him. I've seen him go to waivers quite a bit too, so I'll take a couple shots on him there.
All the Jace McClellan I have is 4 shares, and that was pre-NFL draft, so those will be the only 4 I have.
And then the last 2, Dalen Holker, who you liked, he was undrafted, went to the Saints, and Kendall Milton, the running back to the Eagles at 701, is showing up here on the ADP.
I had Dalen Holker everywhere pre-NFL draft, and cut almost all of them, but like 2.
Yeah. I mean, he's in an okay spot because they didn't bring in anybody, so like he has a shot to make the roster.
Yep.
But they do have like Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill plays that spot, so it is uphill battle for him.
And Juwan Johnson's my boy.
And Juwan Johnson's there. And then Kendall Milton, undrafted running back to the Eagles. Both Georgia running backs went undrafted in the draft, which is crazy to me. Him and Dawan Edwards, who went to the Steelers. Those are 2 guys I'll pick up off of waivers for free, and we'll see what happens if they can be the RB 3 or 4 on their team. Sure, like I think the Steelers, Dawan Edwards definitely has a chance because it's just Najee and Jalen Warren, and that's it. Milton has an uphill battle with Shipley in front of him, Gainwell's in front of him. So they have a couple guys there in front of him. So he has a uphill battle a little bit as well. Trying to think if there's any other guys that I've been taking a lot of. Let me look at one of my leagues where I got a bunch of people listed on here. So yeah, Jace McKellen. Casey Washington is one that I've put on some waiver wires. He went as a round 6 wide receiver to Atlanta Falcons. He was a kind of like that possession type receiver at Illinois with Isaiah Williams.
Yep.
So I kind of like Casey Washington just a little bit, and it's just because Atlanta does not have a lot of depth there at wide receiver in Atlanta. So I'm going to take a shot at Casey Washington. Maybe he develops into their 3rd or 4th receiver that Cousins or Penix just pepper the shit out of.
Taj Washington for me. I'll throw that one out there. Yep. I pick him up off of waivers quite a bit.
We talked a little bit about Devin Leary. I'll pick him up for free. I think there's a chance he's the backup quarterback this year for them.
Devon Vele in Denver, wide receiver, just because that depth chart is so god-awful.
Yeah, that's another good one. We talked about McLaughlin, Thrash, Blake Watson for Denver. That's one that I take a lot of too. Undrafted running back, and that Sean Payton loves himself some undrafted running backs.
I know they're probably not the greatest bets, but in deep best ball leagues, just because of the lack of other weapons in this offense and how good the offense I think is going to be, Xavier Weaver, your boy, was a UDFA, and then they drafted that Tajon Palmer.
Yep.
Who I
didn't like Palmer that much when I watched him, but I get it. He got drafted.
Throw some shots at him.
One guy that I never see drafted, he went in round 5, is Anthony Gould to the Colts.
I just took him in the IDP league, but it's heavy kick returns.
Okay, yeah, so
he's going to be the returner. He's a really good fucking returner.
Yeah, he's fast, like a 4.3 type guy. If he can get on the field and make some like plays, like if he's like their fucking T.Y. Hilton making plays down the field, like a guy that I can get for free, stash on my taxi and see what happens, I'm good with that. Keelan Robinson, another guy who got drafted, round 5 pick to the Jaguars. You know, all they got's fucking Tank Bigsby and Dearness Johnson behind Etienne. And Keelan Robinson is a do-it-all player. He can really catch the ball. He obviously can run the ball, returner. So Keelan Robinson is definitely going to make the team, I think, for them. Josh Cephas, super, super deep leagues. I'll take a shot at him. I liked him a lot. Obviously, with the Jags, he's kind of down on the depth chart there. He's going to have to win a spot in camp. Amani Bailey, another guy I liked. I was talking about this with a friend earlier. Have you seen Kansas City's running back?
It's not very good.
Well, no, it's not very good, but they literally have 10 fucking guys.
They do, and it's not very good, right? It's
No,
I was watching
I'm gonna pull them
highlights
up
of
here.
a former rugby player.
Yeah,
running
so your top 2 are Pacheco and CEH.
Yep.
After that, you have LaMichael Pirine.
Wolf.
Deneric Prince is still there. That rugby guy, Louis Reese Zamet.
Yep.
Keontae Ingram from last year. They picked up Hassan Hall, who was a UDFA from the Browns last year. And they picked up Amani Bailey and Carson Steele, running back from UCLA off UDFA. So they literally have fucking 7 or 8 guys here for running back. It's ridiculous.
It is. But I will throw a few darts at Amani Bailey.
Yes. Yeah, he's a speed guy. If he can just get the corner, man, he's gone for sure.
I'm with you.
Let's see, a couple other guys. Brendan Rice I've seen fall, but he usually gets drafted. Whittington we talked about. Malik Washington, Taj we've talked about. Gene Bell, Milton we've kind of talked about. Both Georgia guys, like I said, on the Eagles and Steelers, the running backs I kind of like as well.
I had a fair number of Jaquan Jackson, but after the Tyler Boyd signing, I can just go cut all those.
Okay, I can get behind that. Let me kind of just look through the rest of my waivers here real quick and see if I notice anybody. Yeah, nobody really on the Steelers. George Halani I like a little bit coming out of the draft, but he's on Seattle, so he might have an uphill battle there. Still has McIntosh ahead of him.
A couple quarterbacks you could throw your darts at. Austin Reed, Chicago.
Chicago, yeah, like I wouldn't be shocked if he beat out Badgenet.
Yep. And then I know he's gross, but Keaton Slovis in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I mean he's better than Sam Ellinger.
That's
Not a lot to say there. Yeah, I get it.
Sam Ellinger or Sean Clifford. Who you got?
Here's 2 that always fall to UDFAs that you can pick up. One of our boys, Dylan Johnson from Tennessee.
Yep.
I'll take a shot at him. He was a UDFA. I went to Tennessee. I'll take some shots there. And then this guy went. I'm gonna pull up the depth chart real quick to make sure I have this right. Where is he at? In the 6th round was Jaquan Jackson from Tulane, the wide receiver. He went to Tennessee, so he always is on waivers as well. Nobody drafts him.
That was the guy I was just talking about. I had a fair amount of him.
Okay.
Picked him up, but I'm going to cut him now.
Okay.
So, R.I.P.
I mean, I've seen like if I have a taxi squad, I'll definitely throw him on there and just see what happens there. I'm not like opposed to that. So that's just a couple of the guys that I like.
I'm with you.
All right. We ready to do some America's favorite game, and we'll get on out of here.
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is inspired off of the fucking hilarious roast of Tom Brady. If you haven't seen it on Netflix, I would recommend go watch it. It is hilarious.
Nikki Glazer had me rolling, man.
My sides she hurt. Was awesome.
My sides hurt.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I'm about halfway through.
Oh, okay. I mean, fucking Belichick's great on there.
Sorry,
Edelman and Gronk.
Belichick just came out.
Okay.
The Drew Bledsoe skit was good.
Drew Bledsoe was awesome. Like to be the first one up, how nervous he was.
Yeah.
He did damn good. I think Edelman and Gronk were a little bit better for the actual players, not non-comedians. But Bledsoe was right up there. Randy Moss sucked though. I have to give Randy Moss wasn't funny at all.
He didn't say much.
No, he wasn't funny at all.
He
but
didn't say much.
Belichick has some good one-liners. Dana White was hilarious. Tony Hinchcliffe came up from the stands with Dana White. He fucking spits fire. He's hilarious.
You ever watch his Kill Tony?
No, I saw the thing. I'm gonna have to watch him because he's pretty funny.
Yeah, Kill Tony is hilarious.
Okay, I'll have to watch that.
Definitely don't let your kids watch it if you're
Yeah, fuck it. They're gonna win the awards anyways. So with that roast of Tom Brady, I was gonna ask you who's your favorite comedian?
Ooh, well, he was on the roast. I watched him do it.
Okay.
Bert Kreischer. Like, I'm a big
Okay.
Bert Kreischer guy.
You
Bert
kind
Kreischer's
of
hilarious.
look like him a little bit.
I think it's just my age. Bert's married. He's got
Yeah.
daughters. Like I can relate a lot to him. But you can tell Bert likes to party. Right back in his day, probably still wants to party now. So I relate a lot to Bert Kreischer. Yeah. Other
Okay.
than my beard's longer, we carry the same body type. That's for sure. That's for sure. Ari Spears is another one. If you remember him.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. I know him.
His rap impression is like one of the greatest things ever, where he does the whole rap song as LL Cool J, DMX, Snoop
I haven't
Dogg,
seen that one.
and Jay-Z.
Okay.
He does great impressions of them, and his comedy is really good. Man, really back in the day, I know everybody liked it. Maybe it was just my generation, but Dane Cook had some heaters there for a while.
I was just gonna say that he was sitting in the crowd for the Tom Brady roast, and I'm like, why didn't he get up there? Why couldn't you have let Dane Cook go up
I
there?
guess he kind of faded into obscurity, and then he had like some issues with people saying that he stole jokes, which a lot of comedians do, I guess.
Right.
But that hit him hard.
I was with you because I was in my Dane Cook era back in the day too, man. Like I have 2 or 3 of his DVDs, shows. I loved the 2 or 3 movies he was in. The Employee of the Month movie with Jessica Simpson. I still fucking quote that movie. Love that movie. So yeah,
And,
I was with you.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Joe Rogan's actually a really good comedian. I love anytime Joe
Yeah.
Rogan does actual stand-up comedy. Big J Okerson and Dan Soder.
Yeah.
They got a show on Sirius XM. They did. I believe they still do. I haven't heard it in forever. But The Bonfire, and then both of their comedies I really enjoy. And Dan Soder's interesting because he not only does that, but he played on Billions, and
Yep,
he does
Billions,
the
yep.
voiceover for the NFL Top 100.
Yeah. yeah. He's a big wrestling fan too.
Really? Dan Soder's? Oh,
Yep.
nice. Pat McAfee, too. Like, you ever seen Pat McAfee's stand-up that he did there for a while? Pretty
No.
funny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll have to
Pat
check that
McAfee's
one
got
out.
his own stand-up, like, special. It's pretty
Okay.
good. It's actually
I'll have to
really
check that
good.
out.
So,
I think the one you're missing that you haven't mentioned yet is Chappelle.
oh, well, that's classic.
That's my number one. The Chappelle show is, never gonna top it. Nobody's ever gonna do it again because of all the controversial shit that
Yeah.
he's did.
Key and Peele came close, so I'll honorary mention. They both
Yeah.
did a fabulous job on theirs.
I would say half of the memory on my phone is Chappelle show memes and gifs. Like I just have so much shit from there. Dane Cook, who you mentioned, Bill Burr. Back
Bill
in the
Burr.
day, I still am a huge Dennis Miller fan. I love fucking Dennis Miller. Like you had to like some of his stuff he says, you might not understand it, but once you understand it, it's pretty fucking funny.
Lewis Black for me too. Love
Okay.
Lewis Black. Just an old angry guy.
Yeah.
Ooh, how about this one? Real old school for the old people out there. Sam Kinison.
Yeah. George Carlin from back in the day. Obviously, he's passed away. That's one of the OGs. I haven't watched one in a long time, but I used to watch it all the time with fucking Gallagher, fucking smashing fucking watermelons and doing jokes and shit.
Oh no!
And then when fucking Chappelle did Black Gallagher,
He
he
Black
fucking
Gallagher.
shot the water.
Yeah, Black.
I'm Black Gallagher, bitch. Bam, bam, bam.
Chappelle's show just set the stage for
Yeah.
my sixth
I
sense
like-
of comedy.
I liked Daniel Tosh there for a little bit too,
Yeah.
until he.
Ooh, we haven't said his name too. Why the fuck can't I think of his name? He does a lot of roast, or he did in the past. Anthony Jeselnik.
Oh, yeah.
Just that style of comedy too, where they're not true stories at all, but the way he tells the story with no expression on his face, and it makes it feel like he's serious. You know?
Right. Yeah.
And he's just always throwing his family under the bus.
Right. Yep. I mean, there's so many of those guys, and then Like we haven't even got into like Saturday Night Live people and Mad TV people from back in the day. So there's so many that we could freaking name. But now I was just curious who some of your top ones were. I know I'd say my top two that I really enjoy were Chappelle, Dane Cook, and probably Dennis Miller would be my top three. If those guys are on, I'm watching.
I will watch a lot of Aries Spears. Like that is
Yeah.
man.
I'm gonna have to find some more Nikki Glazer stuff though. She
Nikki
was hilarious.
Glazer on roast is
Another one
OG.
for women, Wanda Sykes.
Yeah.
Wanda Sykes was funny too. Chris Rock, I love Chris Rock too. Chris Rock does some damn good fucking comedy.
I love watching those roasts though. Since you bring them up, like I watch every roast that they have out. Like anytime those main comedians do it, like the A team comes out and roasts. So
I think with this Netflix stuff, just how big of a success this one was, they're gonna continue to do this. So you're gonna get fucking Peyton Manning, roast of Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, fucking, all these celebrities and football players, baseball players, basketball players, whatever. They're gonna start doing roast of everybody, and it's gonna be a huge hit. So
can we get the roast of Andy Reid?
Yeah, where they actually fucking do like a pig roast on the
They actually serve him roast.
Okay, so we'll do one more quick one. Who would be your guy that you want to see get roasted? Who do you think would be a good one?
In the sports world or just in general?
Yeah, sports person.
World.
I'm trying to think.
I'd love to see Charles Barkley get roasted.
Charles Barkley, yeah. You know who I think would be a really good one to get roasted would be fucking Skip Bayless, because everybody fucking hates him.
Oh, is that a roast when it's 100% serious?
That's the first one that came to my name. Like, oh, Skip Bayless getting roasted would be fucking money.
Yes, it would.
But Charles Barkley's another really good one, because he's a guy that could take some jokes and all that stuff and be okay with it. And then he could probably get back up there and own some people back.
Yeah, I think Chuck can dish it out too.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely dish it out. You'd have like Shaq and Kenny up there roasted up.
I think Shaq would be a good one too, because I think he could come back and just fucking spit fire at some people.
Oh my god, yes. But I could just imagine one of those guys up there and roasting, and Ernie Johnson gets up there. Like Ernie Johnson would be the low key guy that you wouldn't expect to be such a fucking savage that would just bury him.
Yeah,
6 feet under.
Yeah, that's kind of how Bledsoe was. Like, that was low key. Like, I didn't expect that.
You didn't think Drew was going to do that.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, that's it
Pleasantly surprised how good Bill Belichick has been so far, too.
Did you hear the Danny Amendola stuff yet?
Not yet. I haven't got there.
I'll save that one. That one's great, because Amendola kind of roasted him on the Apple series.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Belichick gets a nice little couple zingers in back at him.
Got him.
I love it. But that's it for this week, man. Appreciate having you on again. And we're just doing some great stuff, man. Obviously, you guys with 4D Chess. Shout out to Koopa. He's been doing really good on his podcast so far as well. So if you haven't checked that out on the South Harmon podcast feed, check out Koopa's show. I've been listening to that every week. He does an awesome job. Going to be working on it here maybe this weekend or next week. But me and Koopa, we're going to start doing some basically fantasy team reviews for every team. We're going to do them probably about 15-20 minutes, video form and podcast form. So it'll be on YouTube and on your podcast forms, where we're just going to go through each team fantasy wise, talk about offense, all the positions plus offensive line, where these guys line up, kind of how we're seeing these guys for fantasy for the full season. So just quick little 15-20 minute little podcast for everybody to just kind of go through, check out some of the upcoming players that are going to be on these teams and how we're seeing them for the fantasy season coming up. So be on the lookout for that here soon.
And Fizzle Show comes out Friday.
Fizzle's coming
live
out
stream
Friday. Okay.
Marathon Fantasy Fizzle Fridays.
All right.
Tap in for that. He's already got the list of what some of the topics we're going to cover, and I'm excited because we're going to dive into this Drake versus Kendrick Lamar.
Ooh, okay.
We'll see.
I haven't kept up on any of that.
Oh man, okay. Kendrick Lamar buried fucking Drake. Live roast.
Seems like everybody buries him. Yeah. All right. So that's it for this week, guys. At Eric Vanek NFL, at America's Game Pod on Twitter, at South Harmon FF on YouTube and Twitter as well. Follow us there. At Iowa Michael is for Mike. Anything else, Mike, before we get out of here?
That's all I got, man.
All right.
All I got. Rookie drops are ending. Thank God.
Yes. Thank God. All right, guys. We will see you next week for episode number 47.